Okay, so welcome to this lesson. Today we are going to talk about this topic. The topic is a student discussion. Remember that this space was created in order to improve our skills, and today we are going to be focused on listening. Okay, so before starting, I would like to know if you have any idea about what is a student discussion.
It's like a space where a student can talk about one specific topic and discuss different characteristics of that topic. For example, if they choose, I don't know, abortion, they can discuss about if it's that right, if it's that wrong, and like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you know, or as you said, a student discussion is a space where a group of people, students, talk about a specific topic and they express their ideas and their point of view, sometimes based on theories, documents, whatever. Okay, so and suppose that you are a student of a bachelor in English as a foreign language. Am I right?
Yes,
Okay,
apparently.
yes, it's perfect. So here I have two questions, and I would like to listen your opinion about it. So the first question is, where do we learn the skills necessary to become a good student? And here we have different options: elementary, middle, or high school students. Give me a second, please. Hold on. I'm really sorry. My apologies. Okay, so here, as I told you, we had three options: elementary, middle, and high school. So what's your point of view? What do you think?
I think we learn the necessary skills in high school. In high school, because they always teach us how to be a good student or how to be disciplined with all of responsibilities.
Okay, so do you consider that you learn these soft skills? Let's talk about first about soft skill. Do you know what is soft skill?
No.
Okay, soft skill that are those kind of skills that are. I'm gonna give you example. When you are punctual, when you are responsible, when you are commitment, when you are what else? A team working, a hard worker, or yeah. So those skills are considered soft skills. Se le llaman como habilidades blandas, que son aquellas que nosotros reconocemos como, as I told you, that when you are related with sometimes your personality, but are really important. So some people consider that you learn those skills or soft skills when you are a child, because when you are a grown person, for example, a teenager, sometimes they don't want to do what you ask for. So there are some people that consider that in elementary school is the stage, es la etapa, is the stage when a student are able to acquire um, kind of knowledge and these abilities or these skills. So now let's talk about, for example,
Uh,
English skills. For example, you know that we have different skills: listening, writing, reading, blah 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 blah. So
maybe
what do you think?
maybe I say high school because that was my personal case.
Okay.
But in general, yes, I agree with you. In the elementary school, in the elementary level, we learn more to become about a good student. But in my case, because I always had have to be the number one, but
Mm.
to show my parents that I was the responsibility with my study process. So that's why I say in high school, but it was my personal case.
Okay, I understand that. I get it. And that's right. Okay. So let's talk about the number two. Think about education in general. Do you believe most schools are doing a good job? Or do you believe schools are in a lot of trouble and need a serious reform?
In Colombia, I I agree with there are a lot of troubles with the education system, and they always try to create reforms to change that, but the traditional education always had been present, always. I don't know if I'm talking about the public schools or the or the private schools, but you always find some teachers that keeps working as a traditional teacher, and that's why all of the education forms education system doesn't work so good because in in the bachelor degree they have found that the traditional method it is not a good method. So yes, I think there are some many troubles, many troubles in the in the education system, but I I don't have to be so gentleman. How to say that word? Gentleman, como ser tan juzgosa. Because maybe some teachers and some integrants of the system education they do a good job and try to I don't know, try to have meetings or try to have a I don't know how to say the word, but they learn a lot of new resources and methods to apply educational environment. So, and they could apply it, and they are changing all these method, traditional method. They are innovating that. So it is like a yin yang. The education has the bad the bad side and the good side. So that's what I think.
Yeah, that's right. Few minutes before, I was talking with two students, and we were talking about the same topic. Because when you are working, or to let's suppose that you are a student. If you are a student in a public institution, sometimes it's quite different to a private institution. So, for example, a student with wealthy students or rich students, or those people who are able to pay it monthly for education receives they usually receive a better kind of education, especially in this case English. There are many students, as soon as they finish their high school, they don't have any idea about the second language, and I
Yes,
am
it's
an
like a
example of that.
privilege.
What do you
It's
say?
like a privilege, a privilege.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And when you are in a public school, in a room, in a classroom, there are many people, 45 students, 35 students. It's a lot of people. And you know that it's kind of complicated for a teacher to state, or to be to look every single student, what are they doing, because it's a lot, and you only have sometimes 2 hours. For example, in a week you have 4 hours English lesson, only 4 hours. So sometimes it's complicated for a teacher to apply many methods or theories or didactic things to our classroom. Yeah, sometimes it depends, but sometimes it's a teacher kind of problem, because sometimes they have the time, they have the resources, and they have the knowledge. But sometimes for them, it's easier, it's so much easier to keep a traditional method like grammar translation, because it's just explain grammar time, grammar tense, to the students, and then doing some exercise. So yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
easier
right.
for them.
Yeah, teacher, you have the a good point. A good point because it, it is not always the fault of the teachers. Uh, I agree with
Exactly.
you.
So, how was your experience in high school? Do you consider that you learned a lot of in your in the last years of a school?
um, it's like a story time because I've been mm, I don't know if it's delayed or canceled. Como que me sacaron del me sacaron
Kind of
uh,
drop.
uh-huh,
Mm-hmm.
of the public school, and it was like it wasn't like como un castigo.
A punishment? Why?
Exactly. It was like a punishment to inscribe me into a private school. It was weird, but that thing was so nice for me because in that moment I didn't know that that the school was on emphasis in English.
Mm-hmm.
And I I I did enter in 8th grade, and I finished all my process here there. So I learned a lot,
Oh, that's
really.
good.
I learned a lot. In public school, I didn't know nothing about English. I didn't know about the verb to be. That was the topic of all the teachers talk about every single year. So I didn't know. The English wasn't my best subject for for absolutely nothing. And when I go to that school and I started to learn, and I started to learn more vocabulary. I started to use some grammar exercise, some grammar topics, like he started to apply as in the real life, and I started to like English.
Oh,
And
that's
English
good.
started to be my favorite subject. But as I said before, maybe I was privileged about it because I feel bad when I entered in that school, but I was so privileged because I learned a lot. I learned.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I told you before that when you are in a private school, you get a better quality of education because you have a few students and the teachers are paid, they have the coordinator, their eyes are just there on the teachers. So obviously for that reason, is so much more smaller than a public institution sometimes in some cases. And yeah, obviously, but that's right. Good for you. That's great. In my case, it was quite different. It was like when you were in a public school. Unfortunately, my English teacher had cancer in that moment, so we lived that process with her. So when the hair is starting to fall down until when the hair is starting to grow in her head. So in her head. So it was quite difficult to us because, well, not quite difficult because we were free all the time. In that moment, we were like, cool, we are free. We are doing nothing. That's cool. But but when you are in real life, as soon as you finish, like, oh my gosh, I didn't have any idea about English. And when I started to taking class, I was like, Jesus Christ, I didn't know how to write down the colors, neither the colors and numbers, which is the basic thing. I mean, when you ask to a boy, a little boy, a girl, and you ask the color, and they know what to say, amarillo in English, rosado, whatever. But in my case, it was like I am have I didn't have any idea about the second language. So for me it was really complicated because it was like a start again as if I were a little girl. So yeah. Well, that's the life. Sometimes it's a privilege to have that education. It's not a right, it's not in that it shouldn't be that way because um in Colombia, everyone has the right to learn, to study, but there are many things that happen inside of a school. So, as I told you at the beginning, the topic for today is a student discussion. Yeah, we have a discussion related with education, but now we are going to listen a conversation between two students, and they are discussing about a topic. It's Martin Earth, and I would like to share with you a video. It's right here.
It's time. What if we lived on Mars?
Then I will keep on jumping all day long.
What? Oh, Due to extremely low atmospheric pressure on Mars, we will need to live inside buildings with pressure vessels and walk around with pressure suits. No need to lose our weight anymore. Gravity on Mars is 38% lower than that on Earth. Mars is extremely cold as compared to Earth, so get used to seeing ice everywhere. With extreme water scarcity on Mars, say bye-bye to those long leisurely baths. Get used to those huge dust storms you see in movies. They will be a living reality in Mars. Sunscreen makers will be one happy lot as the extremely thin atmosphere on Mars does not absorb much ultraviolet sunlight. With no more rain and virtually no clouds on Mars, it's time to forget about those beautiful rainbows and sunsets. What if Pangea...
Okay, so here you have now an idea about how is the life on Mars. So here we're going to listen. Okay, let's try to do this exercise and then we are going to listen the conversation, okay? So here in the preparation task, we have some phrase or words that we use in order to, talking about differences, and some of them talking about the same thing, the similarities. So let's try to put it in the correct box. What do you think that is the first one? To have in common.
It's like the same. Oh, sorry.
Don't worry.
Hello, teacher. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
To have in common, I think it
In
must be
which box?
located in the second chart that are the same.
Yeah. Okay. These were bad.
But uh, it must be located in the first chart about a difference.
In the first. Yes. Ah, Jesus. It's not here. What about this one? Similar.
Similar in the second chart.
Whereas this one. Do you know what is that in Spanish?
It's like mientras que.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, no, it's like a difference in the first chart, teacher, please.
Okay, both.
Both is like the second chart in the same.
To share.
In the second one.
And the last one.
While in the first one.
The first one. Okay, the first one. That's right. Very good. Okay, so let's now listen the conversation.
This recording is from the British Council.
So you've got a few minutes to discuss with your partner.
So, as far as I know, the main similarity between Mars and Earth is that they can both support human life.
Yeah, but do we know that's actually true? I mean, Mars is much colder than Earth, isn't it? It says here it's about minus 55 Hello,
degrees
teacher.
most of the
Se me
time,
fue la
whereas
conexión. places like
¿No pudiste escuchar? Lo voy a repetir nuevamente, ¿dale?
Sí, 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 perfecto.
This recording is from the British Council.
so you've got a few minutes to discuss with your partner.
So, as far as I know, the main similarity between Mars and Earth is that they can both support human life.
Yeah, but do we know that's actually true? I mean, Mars is much colder than Earth, isn't it? It says here it's about minus 55 degrees most of the time, whereas on Earth, only places like Antarctica get that cold.
True. Well then, I suppose you could say both planets are a similar distance from the Sun.
No way! Mars is much further away. It says here it's about 228 million kilometers, while Earth is about 150 million.
Yes, but in space, that's not that far. Jupiter is like almost 780 million kilometers. That's why we use astronomical units when we talk about distance in space. Earth is 1 astronomical unit from the Sun, and Mars is 1.3. The difference doesn't sound so big when you look at it that way.
I see what you mean. Jupiter is 5.2 astronomical units, so I guess you're right. What other similarities are there between the two planets?
Let's see. Not the color, obviously.
Yeah, Earth is called the blue planet, and Mars is called the red planet for pretty obvious reasons.
Their sizes are pretty different. Mars is about half the size of Earth.
What about this? It looks like the days on both planets are almost the same length. Earth's day is 24 hours, but Mars's is about half an hour longer.
You're right. Okay. Any other things they both share?
Um, I suppose you could say they have water in common.
Could you? How?
Well, Earth is 70% water, and Mars probably had huge oceans in the past. It's just that most of the water there now is probably frozen.
Ah, I see. I don't think we can say the air is the same, though. Most of Earth's air is nitrogen and oxygen. But Mars.
Mars doesn't really have air, not compared with Earth. It's got about 1% as much air as Earth.
Right. And it's mostly carbon dioxide.
Gravity is another difference. I didn't know this, but Mars has higher gravity than the Moon. But it's much less than on Earth, of course.
Oh, yes. It says Mars has about 38% of Earth's gravity.
Okay, let's see what you've found.
I'm gonna send the screen to the chat and gonna put the audio again in order to read, that you read and listen at the same time.
This recording is from the British Council.
So you've got a few minutes to discuss with your partner.
So, as far as I know, the main similarity between Mars and Earth is that they can both support human life.
Yeah, but do we know that's actually true? I mean, Mars is much colder than Earth, isn't it? It says here it's about minus 55 degrees most of the time, whereas on Earth, only places like Antarctica get that cold.
True. Well then, I suppose you could say both planets are a similar distance from the Sun.
No way! Mars is much further away.
It says here it's about 228 million kilometers, while Earth is about 150 million.
Yes, but in space that's not that far. Jupiter is like almost 780 million kilometers. That's why we use astronomical units when we talk about distance in space. Earth is 1 astronomical unit from the Sun, and Mars is 1.3. The difference doesn't sound so big when you look at it that way.
I see what you mean. Jupiter is 5.2 astronomical units, so I guess you're right. What other similarities are there between the two planets?
Let's see. Not the color, obviously.
Yeah, Earth is called the blue planet, and Mars is called the red planet for pretty obvious reasons.
Their sizes are pretty different. Mars is about half the size of Earth.
What about this? It looks like the days on both planets are almost the same length. Earth's day is 24 hours, but Mars's is about half an hour longer.
You're right. Okay. Any other things they both share?
Um, I suppose you could say they have water in common.
Could you? How?
Well, Earth is 70% water, and Mars probably had huge oceans in the past. It's just that most of the water there now is probably frozen.
Ah, I see. I don't think we can say the air is the same, though. Most of Earth's air is nitrogen and oxygen. But Mars.
Mars doesn't really have air, not compared with Earth. It's got about 1% as much air as Earth.
Right. And it's mostly carbon dioxide.
Gravity is another difference. I didn't know this, but Mars has higher gravity than the Moon. But it's much less than on Earth, of course.
Oh, yes. It says Mars has about 38% of Earth's gravity.
Okay, let's see what you've found.
Okay. So Julia, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay. So let's try to do this exercise. So here we have some sentence and we're going to put it in the correct group. Earth or Mars? So the first one is has more air. What do you think that is the answer?
Hair.
Earth.
Oh, air. It's air. Sorry.
Okay. Is closer to the sun.
It's closer to the sun. Earth. Because they mentioned that Mars, it was farther away.
Mm-hmm. Is colder.
Mars.
Has a longer day.
Earth.
Are you sure?
Mm, sorry. What about? It looks like the days of the year also. Yeah,
It's
air.
has
Because they say Earth's day is 24 hours, but Mars is about half an hour longer. Ah,
longer.
no. Yes. Sorry, Mars.
Okay. Has a strong gravity.
Earth.
Stronger gravity. Is 15% smaller. 15% smaller.
Mars.
Used to have water.
Earth.
Earth used to have water? We don't have water right now, nowadays?
Yes, Mars.
And the last but not the least.
Um, Mars.
That's Earth.
Okay.
Okay. So let's do this part. Complete the sentence with the word from the box.
Most people think Mars can support human life.
Number two.
We measure distance in space using astronomical units.
Mhm. Number three.
Sorry. The two planets are in the same color.
What about number four?
Most of water on Mars is probably frozen. The air on Earth is mostly made up of nitrogen. That is correct. That is the
Nitrogen, yes.
yes. Okay, nitrogen.
And the last but not the least.
Gravity on Mars is just over 1 tier as strong as on Earth.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely very good. Okay. So in this conversation, they were making comparison between the two objects. In this case was Mars and Earth. So now we are going to do some exercise related with comparisons. Do you remember how to comparison and superlative words?
Superlative, yes, like you add to the adjective est.
When, yeah, it depends. When you are making a comparison between two objects, the adjective change. For example, if the adjective is short, you have to put er. Yeah. But when the adjective is longer or is a long adjective, you had to put the
Est.
word more before.
More.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's write some exercise here. So here we have this board, and you are going to choose a number. Well, different numbers. You can choose a number, and then you are going to try to give me the answer. So choose a number, please.
15.
Okay. So here we have a sentence. Aquí tenemos una oración, okay? And here we have the adjective. So you are going to tell me what is the correct way of this sentence.
Is words.
Okay, but read it all. Read it all the sentence.
Okay. The situation is worse that I thought. Cool.
Yeah, words that
First
I
time.
saw. Very good. Okay, choose another number.
6.
This is
The best day of my life.
good.
Number 16. That restaurant is the worst place to eat. It has really bad reviews.
The worst. That's right. Okay, choose
Number
another
10.
one. Sorry?
Number 10. 10.
Okay,
Right.
so here
Mm,
we have a sentence and you are going to tell me if it is right or wrong.
okay. She can be as more smart as my teacher. Uh, no, she can be smarter than my teacher.
Okay. So here we have a comparison using as.
As,
It's when
okay.
it's the same. As.
As smarter as my teacher, because more
Mm,
smart is wrong.
she can be. Can you repeat it again?
Smarter.
Let's check. As smart. This
Okay.
comparison is a comparison when two objects are similar. For example, she is as beautiful as her sister. Ella es tan hermosa como su hermana. She is as smart as my teacher. She can be
Okay.
as smart as my teacher. Ella puede ser tan inteligente como mi profesora. Es cuando los dos objetos tienen igualdad.
Okay. Number 7. Uh, Biryani the is smaller than
Smaller than. Very good.
number 12. That computer is as advanced as this one.
Very good.
Number 5. It was the happiest day of my life. Oh, happiest.
The
Yes.
happiest. Very good.
Number 11. That's right.
Very good.
Number 9. This exercise is more difficult than the previous one.
Yeah.
Number 4. Melissa is younger than her cousin.
Her cousin, yeah.
Number 13.
13.
13. As far as possible as to go. That's right.
It's wrong.
As possible. Ah, yeah, ¿verdad? Yo lo dije, pero. Okay, okay.
Sorry.
Number 2. She is bigger than me.
Nice.
Number 1, cheetahs are the fastest land animals.
The fastest.
Uh-huh, the fastest. Number 8, this book is more interesting than the one we read last year. And 14, this cheese is better than the one you bought last time. Number 3, she is the craziest person I know.
Very good. Oh my God. Here is I think 1, team 2, but you are the only one who did this exercise. Okay, very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Paula. So that's it for today. Was que Paula, Juliet, sorry. It was a pleasure to be with you. I really enjoyed this time, and I hope to see you again in another meeting in another moment.
Okay, teacher.
Bye bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.